練習したいんだけど、レポート。はい。いや、でもそのまま、ちょっと、カメラちょっと高すぎる。ちょっと下げる。いいよ。
あるいはこっちまで行っちゃうか。
お、これいい。なんか、もちろん、No. 10も見えない。
こっちまで行くと彼女邪魔だね。
いや、大丈夫。
大丈夫。見えてる。たった今ですね。
大丈夫かな。
たった今です。
ちょっと穴が入ってる。
入ってる。こんぐらいですね。いや、これのイヤホンを使う。
カード大丈夫。
タナさんしたら全然違う角度なんでスマホで撮ってる。せっかくやし、この間ね、ちょっと遠かったから今回近いよ。あ、でもね、向こうにも撮ってる。
みんな知らなかった。
あ、まあ急だったからな。演劇訪問だからしょうがない。
びっくりしました。
ブリュッセルに行く話が出てたから先に行って
No, no, I don't want this. I just know some people do. I have clean ears.
多分いらないと思う。多分いらない。
こうなら本当になんかそのちょっとダウニングストリートのナンバー10。
まあこう来るから多分こっちを見てズームするから。
いやいやいや。まあなんていうかボールで待って。
どこに車が止まるか。
そうそう、まあ今聞こえたんだけど、そこで止まって出て、ちょっとみんながそこで写真撮って、2人が扉する。
Very, very brief.
Oh, hey.
There you go. Put that in there, just like your phone.
This is the deadline.
Put that in the deadline.
Okay.
And the other thing I was going to say is to confirm, the car will go to the lamppost, stop, so the car will stop there, then they will get out and do the walk up, and the shaking hands, so it will start over there.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yes. No worries. Squish away. Is it on?
Sorry, just stand on here.
And then widen out.
Yeah, I can see a bit more now. So what's happening after that? Is that it then? After 11:30. So fine. And then are we? These are lead out. Is anything happening in that?
Oh, right, you're just practicing. Just a rehearsal. No, don't worry. I'm just trying. I'm trying not to get that in my picture. That's right. I can't go back too much.
Sorry.
That's only one part of the announcement today. There's another arm to it, and that's to do with training. Maybe I'll tell you a little bit about what Rishi Sunak has been saying about that. Our Prime Minister has said, "I'm proud that today we will expand the training from soldiers, Marines and fighter jet pilots, ensuring Ukraine has a military able to defend its interests well into the future." It also underlines our commitment to equipment for the short term, and our long-term pledge to stand shoulder to shoulder with Ukraine for years to come. And it's worth saying, Jay, that one of the reasons that President Zelensky is here, when effectively the red carpet there has been put out, one of the reasons why President Zelensky is coming to get the red carpet for updates in Downing Street rather than other UK capitals is the support that the UK has given right back really since 2014, that first incursion by the Russians into Ukrainian territory. See the nuts and bolts of what it looks like to have a red carpet rolled out as pristine as possible behind me. To doing this. But of course we've had multiple Prime Ministers in this country since 2014. David Cameron was Prime Minister. Then now of course Constance all the way through has been one of the maybe we should be second.
Obviously, soon as him, he's so they'll leave the group.
Annexation of the enormous
Do you think the mic? I'm just worried about it.
Sorry, I forgot.
Yeah. That's okay.
No.
Do you want me to put my bags up?
Or like lift this up.
Necessarily,
You won't be able to because you're locked in.
stands apart. That's why the UK is getting the visit today. One of these
You'll be okay. No, because I don't want you to fall over. You'll be able to get out, so sort of through that lane, and then round to the left. Like come that way, and then you'll follow along. But just like make sure that you just take your camera off, leave your tripod behind you. Yeah, I would. You'll be okay.
So like literally as soon as he like shuts the door, I'll just
Exactly. Literally, as soon as they turn around, we go.
Tight rope. Just to check, the car's pulling up somewhere down there.
Lamppost.
Lamppost, right, okay, fine, good.
had a chance to read the sanctions stuff yet.
It's not standard practice, and not doing things in the normal way, I think, tells you a lot about
Yeah, I have
the
it.
relationship.
In what time?
Sunak is trying to build, what he's trying to do with this visit.
20 minutes.
How he's trying to personally insert himself in
3
the
minutes.
national story when it comes to
Politics live.
Ukraine. So,
In about 3 minutes time.
the Prime Minister to get off the airport, meet him, and travel down. Normally there's
Yeah, I haven't actually read this release. I haven't read this release
Put
about
that down.
sanctions.
Is that creating
Really dodgy. Now it's all going.
so this is a departure from
Okay, that's better.
back to squeeze? Yeah. Yeah, no, it's okay. It's the bag that was fat.
Sunak will want to claim relationship with President Zelensky firmly
Is this?
because it is something that has been so established. Boris Johnson was there recently
Is this true? Is this politics right?
and I think that Rishi Sunak, who will go down with of course, as Prime Minister, moving to a certain degree over a lot of what he does, looking to as well authorise some of the things that he's trying to do. So Rishi Sunak putting himself firmly alongside President Zelensky,
Hi guys,
making himself look like a significant global figure, if he can use this visit to do that and to claim that relationship for his own.
Yeah, I can't really hear what's going on. I haven't really read this sanctions stuff yet.
Really read the goal. There were stories after Rishi Sunak came to Downing Street that there was a bit of a sort of cost-benefit analysis.
I'll make sure I can get to close my ladder at you.
Is this
They
the
were
you?
rejected.
Do you want British fighter jets next?
Alright, fine, that's okay. Thanks. Bye-bye. No question on sanctions. Okay, sorry. I can mention it, you know, they've announced a new round of sanctions. I won't mention it. I think it's hugely significant that President Zelensky is going to be here on UK soil. He is only his second trip outside of Ukraine since the invasion started, and the fact that he's chosen the UK to be his second destination is a sign of, I think, how highly he regards the UK in terms of his importance as an ally. Sunak's words around this visit, describing it as an unbreakable friendship, is hugely significant for him to be able to address both houses of Parliament in person. And I think a sign of his achievement is in staying the course, if you like, in charge of Ukraine, being able to make this journey here under what is obviously intensely tight security. Well, I think the UK is keen to stress that they are trying to step up support in terms of training for fighter pilots, for Marines, and immediate boost to military equipment. But they have so far resisted any talk of sending fighter jets themselves. That is something that President Zelensky has been asking for, requesting not to get agreed to by either the US or the UK. There is obviously some discussion around this topic. Boris Johnson, former Prime Minister, making it clear that he thinks that is what the West should do. But I think the visit in itself is not we'll have to wait and see what is discussed between Prime Minister and President Zelensky. The visit itself is really designed to keep up that pressure on the West. But I think Rishi Sunak needs to stress that he does not intend to weaken the relationship or the level of support provided to Ukraine. Repeating that phrase that we have heard so often, that the UK stands shoulder to shoulder with Ukraine for many years to come.
Training announcement that I referred to sanctions that were laid to be put into force at 11 a.m. That I think is a significant thing to President Zelensky. There have been sanctions imposed in the last year.
Sorry, guys.
Worrying that having the impact on Russia that they could do, which is why Zelensky wants more, really more help, I think, and more pressure to be put what President Zelensky want to do is just provide a little bit of energy and connection in that relationship to remind the British people and British MPs and British political leaders that Ukraine matters not only to Ukrainians, it's the same as Ukraine matters to everybody, not just because of energy prices, which has been an issue that has turned out to be so painful for everybody in the UK, cold winter, higher prices, but also because if Russia succeeds in its ambitions when it comes to Ukraine, the question that President Zelensky will ask is where does that stop? Will President Putin restrain himself once he gets to the borders of Ukraine, or actually now the conflict is entered? It only takes 2-3 hours now to get into Kyiv, fly to Poland, you get a train. If the Russians are successful, where President Putin stop? And you can see that shot just outside the Houses of Parliament. What you're looking at right now is the road that takes you on your right. You've got the Houses of Parliament. The big white truck in front of you just come off.
Hey, Daryl. Thanks.
Or perhaps just a bit more humdrum, so we are waiting. That was like a more precise location for the motorcade, carrying a president and the Prime Minister, no doubt deep in conversation about the British commitments to Ukraine. The other thing that Britain has done, Jane, and this has been really interesting, and runs counter to some of the sort of stories about Britain's position in the world in the last few years, that Britain has played a pivotal role politically, banging heads together, both in Europe and helping to convince the US to stay on side. And that role of Britain as a broker has been noted around the global community and has been beneficial to Britain's standing in the world at a point where there have been lots of arguments about Britain's importance. And I think that the centrality of Ukraine, which might not have seen 3-4 years ago, to British foreign policy has been absolutely vital. That's the reason why Rishi Sunak will want to be pulling out all of the stops when it comes to today's red carpet visit. You can see the carpet all laid out there ready for the two men to emerge in those days in a few minutes' time. But there's been no doubt that in relatively robust conversations between Britain and European Union countries, the UK has helped shape the conflict in Ukraine and the debate around whether or not armament, heavy armament, should go to Ukraine. Exactly what will happen there. I think the UK has played a bigger than perhaps expected part, led in the first instance by Boris Johnson, who was Prime Minister for the first 6 or 7 months of the conflict that we saw in Ukraine, but then continued by other political leaders. And I think that sense of being able to encourage, for instance, the Germans to take a more accommodating stance on tanks, to conversations between the newish Chancellor, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, and successor British Prime Ministers. I think those kinds of discussions have been important.
All good.
Also had US almost reinvigorated by the issue of Ukraine, on which they have stood shoulder to shoulder at a point where there are lots of other issues on the global agenda where perhaps they can drift just a little bit further apart from one another. And so I think we just have that sense that Ukraine has been at the centre of something quite important. And I think that's why we stand here in this beautiful, crisp, cold day in Downing Street, and we're about to see an important moment for President Zelensky and for Prime Minister Rishi Sunak.
resting on my feet. It's very difficult resting. Standing half cocked or like one step.
Hello. I think we've got. I can see some flashing lights, so we might not be that far off. They're just opening the gates. Yeah, now. Can you turn a bit to see what's on? Okay, we can't go further, but come back to the back.
They got the pool. Okay, but they're not they wanted it. Now after the ride.
I'll shake. I was just told after the road. They're not saying, communicating with me at all. If they're not talking to you, then they're not. They'll just take the call and then do it once it's gone in.
Do you want British fighter jets next, sir? Mr. Zelensky, do you want British fighter jets next? Is this the beginning of you ending up with British fighter jets, Mr. Zelensky? Do you miss Boris, Mr. Zelensky?
Go on, Neil.
Your thing? Yeah, got it all right. I mean, I had.
I'll be the judge of that when I see the tape. You alright?
Got the rest.
As long as you've got a clean run.
Yeah.
You were there quite a while, wasn't you?
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, I mean, finished up.
Did you see any of the clapping?
You couldn't really. They're in the depths, unfortunately. I mean,
The light, isn't it?
the light. I didn't really want to compromise their shot, exposure-wise, for the sake of views. I know what you're saying, but
Yeah, no, I know, and I
you can hear
understand.
it,
You can hear
sure,
it. Yeah.
But it's great entourage, doesn't it?
Yeah, with all the army type,
Yeah,
it's just quite
Well,
fun.
there's still some of the old Ukrainian military down there, aren't there? I mean,
And then we're here until PMQs.
So again?
And we're here until PMQs too.
Yeah, and if we do those as bonus questions when they come back out, have you seen those?
No, I haven't.
On the WhatsApp, here we go.
Oh, there you are.
You look, you've got a
Didn't even
little
get-
signal cut off.
Stand by.
So let's do those, and the other. Those, I guess they do those two first, and then the other ones when they come out for
Oh, I
PMQ.
didn't get those.
Yeah, don't worry. They only came through like 30 seconds before they started. 37. That makes me feel anxious.
What?
37 unread messages.
Oh, yeah, sorry. it's the Turkey. It's the Turkey stuff. I mean, I was in Turkey group yesterday.
I see. Careful when you're talking next to pool cameras. As we all know.
As we all know.
As we all know. As I've just remembered.
But we were told to expect something.
No, when that happened, I was just like,
and then nobody came.
if I'm ever producing.
I've done it
No.
before. It's not quite as bad as a Christian, but I've done it.
Yeah, done something quite bad. 2 last minutes. Just Alright, I'm sorry.
Here we go. So this may be the car getting ready for PMQ. The question is how are they going to travel?
Is Zelensky getting in the same car with him?
This is the question is, will they let Zelensky do PMQs and watch it in the public gallery? That's what they sometimes do. They bring them. Where's number 10?
Because he's making a speech at Westminster.
1 o'clock. So the question
Is he just going to stick?
is, because normally if the Prime Minister's question is usually double turn.
yeah. There's no
Sort of
particular is there?
11:30. Well, quite late they go over, don't they? 11:30.
Very late. They
11:40,
10 to something.
10 to, yeah. And the car pulls up and they jump in. But the question then is, how is Zelensky getting across?
Exactly.
Because he's got to do his address. So will they go together in a car, or will
That'd
they?
be great, wouldn't it, to do? I mean,
Because he could.
this.
But then Zelensky's got to go and see the King. So I don't know if he'll do that during PMQs and come back. So it's all, I'm not quite clear on the King timing.
No, good point.
That's the way this morning is heading, isn't it? Okay. Okay. No, but he's always been.
Oh, well, maybe that's. He's either going to stop there, that may answer your question.
Never comes over. Larry. Never comes over.
Hi, Larry. Oh, he's coming in.
He is the most unfriendly cat.
Pool spray, so they've done that now. Like, at the top of the meeting.
Yes. I heard logistics to try and
So I've seen them sprint. It's quite funny.
Zelensky will be holding probably quite a short bilateral, I imagine, because of course it is Wednesday and there is a regular occasion.
You'd probably take the opportunity to be seen.
It'd be odd if they decided to go
that way or that way.
together. well, so there was a huge team of officials who accompanied Zelenskyy, and Rishi Sunak into Downing Street. There was a rapturous welcome from Downing Street staff when President Zelenskyy arrived. There will be
It's the first step towards fighter jets.
then later, the running will be that address to
When you feel pressured, you not feel the same thing. I almost got to Did he look? Did he look? He looked and then he looked. It was funny.
Did he? What, not to do you miss Forrest?
No. Sorry, I was very keen to I asked until they were literally about to go in. I thought you might be like a
this is a chance for really that sort of symbolic, significant visual moment to happen, that wave that you saw between President Zelenskyy, which is like on the steps with the red carpet rolled out here. So I think in terms of the actual conversation, that
I feel like there is a really different
that address.
Doing well to raise a smile up. It's a kind of, it's quite serious.
At the airport, like they arrived together in the same car, walked up and through that door that we are dealing with. So I think a hugely significant moment to have President Zelenskyy inside the building before he makes his way into the House of Commons. Significant, and also in terms of the change of prime ministers. So of course we have seen 3 prime ministers since the war in Ukraine began. Boris Johnson, of course, leading the way on that, then Liz Truss taking over, and then now Rishi Sunak. This is a chance, I think, for him to bind himself together with that support for Ukraine. He has described it as a great friendship. I think there is no doubt now, there is no doubt that Rishi Sunak wants to keep up that support, no matter what it is very important is in terms of increasing the level of support obviously Ukraine training for military pilots and Marines. He is announcing today further sanctions on Russia, and I think that he would want to be clear that he is not intending to pull back. He's talking about standing shoulder to shoulder with Ukraine for years to come. So there is no sign that the UK is going to pull back.
I've been thinking about a standard on PMQ's shout today.
Goodness, no. Proper historic moment.
On the international stage too. But of course there will be pressure from more support. We know that President Zelenskyy has already asked
Looking at the Ukrainian guy. Are we soft? Because it does feel cold. You know, just look like next time. He's got his woolly hat on, that's it.
In answer to your question, yes. Certainly, you're not lying. I'm soft. I fully admit it.
I get one other Zelenskyy president.
Presumably, he's got to get over to PMQ. The question is how when's he seeing the king? The question is when's he seeing the king, or does he just watch PMQ? This is what does he do between 12 and 1?
Absolutely. I mean, I don't think the significance of those pictures of President Zelenskyy
Okay, so what? They'll take it off.
as a representation of the achievement.
Yeah, they might take it off.
And he has made it this far.
I'm not saying that
Outside of Ukraine, this is our start. And yet, it does reinforce the message that the UK is one of Ukraine's key allies. Only the second time that President Zelenskyy has made it, of course, is to the UK. So I think that will be received in that way in Russia too. But I think also a chance for President Zelenskyy to express his gratitude for the support the UK has provided to Ukraine so far.
It's just Sunak, you could make it.
Yeah, it's just the first question. It's Zelensky's within last 2 months.
Prime Minister, never PM.
Oh yeah,
That's your. You hear PM sometimes. If you ever hear normally trying to watch your cues as well.
It's great.
In fact, he looked quite on a par with Singer, who truly, like a choir boy, really, he's yeah.
Zelensky's very kind of, his gait is very, he kind of rolls with his shoulders. It's not a very easy day, so we've struggled It's good, it's giving us slightly as much.
Yeah.
It can be fun down here. It's balance. Yeah, I know. You say I'm not doing it. I'm sure the best part of living down in the shower. It's not my five, it's not what I done. It's been something better than people's faces. Dante is the most fun. It's not bullying, it's done. It's hard to do Jane, there's been this whole phenomena today about who packaged it and whether we sent the press set down here. Dawson. My knowledge of the South So basically, so there's going to be like a photo military-based tour and then a press conference.
That's what it is. Well, I mean, that's Royal whether we see him again. Their tanks all over.
It's alright. Yeah. It's alright. I just want to go back. It's just the ring wasn't great. No one kept because I'm at number 10. It was just really see it. And then up there, I didn't because I was last year. But it was good to hear.
Probably will be able to leave anyway.
Oh, has he?
Ian's gone. What, that way down?
Well, Friday.
See the Royals there. One didn't.
Just go, take shot, that's big shot.
10 minutes before time busy day. Didn't have any issues this morning.
Sam Singer.
Camera set 30 seconds.
Sam's got to be much tighter because he's got not much time.
But it's more if both of them come out, who should I be asking?
I think I see.
I like Dominic Wackman phrase he's a bit like a statesman. And I think all of what we can see around here, electric atmosphere in Downing Street, security guards from both countries, soldiers, military attachés, police officers I recognise in casual dress, providing an additional level of security. I think there is just a sense of the moment now as we approach the first anniversary of the incursion and invasion of Ukraine, and the president of that country now, by his remind people he is essential not just for his citizens but for the Western world, pushing back President Putin and repelling Russia, pointing out that if this effort fails, President Putin stop it at the borders of Ukraine could even seep west. European countries, NATO countries where big issues there at a moment where London and the world is extremely concentrated. Door opening now.
Mr. Zelensky, does Western support go far enough?
Mr. Zelensky, sir.
Is the UK your best hope right now?
I assumed it was more on this rather than on just leading into the interview. Is it on?
Because I know you like Putin, I'm going to start my special force to us. What about the politician?
Which guy? Oh yeah.
It's on Zelensky, not on here.
Yeah, I'll see you down there.
It must be true then.
It's too late now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Should I go and get a cup of tea?
And thank you so much for this charger.
It's very useful because it's got the wire. Do you know, it's very clever because it has wires for either double wire. So you can do two. I mean, it doesn't carry much, but it's enough to.
50 seconds. I mean, it's on 12. So much, sir.
Come on.
Okay. Well, thank you for that.
No worries at all.
Yeah. You make a lead
I'll head to down and speak. No, I had to down and speak because I want a picture of Rishi with his glasses.
Did he wear his glasses? No, he didn't. No. Yeah, I know. And the week before. So I came in. Well, last week I couldn't come. There was a train strike. Yeah, right. So I thought I'll come and get him wearing his.
Right, Don, we'll see you later.
Yeah, all the best.
That's
See you
all
later.
gone back live, hasn't it?
All gone live. I've got it on card as well. But
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Yeah. Last time we with Cyril the Squirrel.
Yeah, we just saw President Zelensky and his team come out and not the same behind me and
Yeah, that's it.
to
And do you know
My lords, ladies and gentlemen, can I have your undivided attention for a few short moments, please? Thank you very much. In the unlikely event of a fire or evacuation is required, fire exits are the fire exit doors are the north door, the east door, and the St. Stephen's door to the street. Okay. In a few short moments, I will be announcing the arrival of the President. Okay. At the end of the speeches, and they've left the hall, please remain where you are until I announce again with a loud mic when you can leave, so we don't all just crowd straight out. I would expect your cooperation with that, please. Other than that, please enjoy this afternoon. Very special, I'm sure. Thank you very much for listening when you could.
Yeah, hold it into. Lord Truth, just stands.
My lords, ladies and gentlemen, can you please welcome the President of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky.
Mr. President, Zelenskyy, prosimy, the rest of us, welcome. Not many people stood here today in this significant setting will realise that our friendship began on the 8th of October 2020 when you were the first ever head of state that I met as Speaker. We hit it off immediately, with much laughter over an English afternoon tea and, of course, choly cakes. And we forged an instant bond despite wearing masks and being socially distanced at the opposite ends of a large table, because like the rest of Europe, we were working out how to deal with COVID. Little did we know that our relationship would grow in such turbulent times. On the 24th of February 2022, the second invasion of Ukraine began. On the 8th of March 2022, there was another first for us both. I suspended the House of Commons so that you could address in Ukrainian through the screens in our chamber, which we still refer to them as Zelenskyy screens. The atmosphere was electrifying. You could hear a pin drop before you came online, a very, very rare thing in the House of Commons. You spelled out the horrors of the first 13 days of war. Your speech was devastating and powerful. Today, on the 8th of February 2023, now deep into the war, we are honoured that you have put yourself at risk to address us and again shine a light on the fact your country is still fighting for its survival. This hall has been the place of many great historical events. Your presence here today adds another to them. The war, as you know better than any of us, has lasted for nearly a year. As you told us last year, this is a war Ukraine did not start and did not want. But it is a war you've had to fight, and our commitment to support you and your people has not wavered. I was considering what could be said at this important occasion. I thought back to the 1990s. Then we hoped that all countries that emerged from the former Soviet Union could secure freedom and prosperity. There was a moment of hope over that time, and we knew it would be a long time that each country could choose its own destiny. It is a tragedy that Ukraine's efforts to bring freedom, prosperity to its people has been met with war and death. Last year, building on our friendship, I welcome your wife, Madame Zelenskyy, to Parliament to open deliberately a provocative exhibition. I wanted to ensure the experience of your people is kept at the forefront of our minds. I do not believe any of us in this room were complacent about the reality of conflict, but those displays shocked us. The images stayed with us. They brought home the horrors of war. Horrors inflicted on your people, fighters, civilians alike. Horrors which cannot be avoided or denied. I applaud Ukraine's refusal to forget what is you and your people are fighting for. In the words of the Ukrainian Eurovision winners, Kalusha Orchestra, they said, "I always find my way home, even if all roads are destroyed." Fighting for a country is not simply fighting for territory. It is a fight for home and for an ideal. The endurance of the people of Ukraine, honours those ideals. Their refusal to allow war to destroy their humanity honours their ideals. Quite rightly, last year you said, Ukrainians have become big over the 13 days of this war. You have become even bigger in your determination, not just to fight for your country, but to stand by the ideals you are fighting for. We will not give up on those ideals. We'll continue to support you against that Russian aggressor. And I pledge here today, in front of all of you, to do all I can to keep the plight of Ukraine in the spotlight. Later this year, the UK and Ukraine will be united in music, but we will always be united in our unwavering belief in the power of democracy. Slava Ukraina. Mr. President, please.
Thank you so much. Thank you. The people of the United Kingdom and their honourable representatives, all the people of England and Scotland, of Wales and Northern Ireland, of all the lands which have been home to brave souls since Europe came into existence. I have come here and stand before you on behalf of the brave, on behalf of our warriors who are now in the trenches under enemy artillery fire, on behalf of our air gunners and every defender of the sky who protects Ukraine against enemy aircrafts and missiles, on behalf of our tank men who fight to restore our Ukrainian borders, on behalf of our conscripts who are being trained now, including here in Britain. Thank you, Britain. And who will be then deployed to the front line, skilled, equipped, and eager to win. On behalf of every father and every mother who are waiting for their brave sons and brave daughters back home from the war. Mr. Speaker, you may, I think, well remember as roughly more than 2 years ago, we met with you here in Parliament. Great honor was for me. And I remember we enjoyed tea. We talked, of course. We talked a lot about our people and about our countries, about the British and Ukrainian political traditions. Mr. Prime Minister Rishi, when we had our meeting earlier today, and I said to you that I would tell you I will tell a story in my address to the Parliament, and a story about my feelings on my first visit to London as President in autumn 2020. The program was packed. Royal Highnesses William and Catherine, and Buckingham Palace, and aircraft carrier of the Royal Navy, the Westminster, of course, Downing Street, and of course, the war rooms. And there is an armchair in the war room, the famous Churchill's armchair, and a guide smiled and offered me to sit down on this armchair from which war orders had been given. And he asked me, how did I feel? And I said that I certainly felt something. But it is only now that I know what the feeling was. And all Ukrainians know it perfectly well too. It is the feeling of how bravery takes you through the most unimaginable hardships to finally reward you with victory. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for your bravery. Thank you very much from all of us. Yes, please. That is for you. All applause for you. London has stood with Kyiv since day one. From the first seconds and minutes of the full-scale war, Great Britain, you extended your helping hand when the world had not yet come to understand how to react. Boris, you got others united when it seemed absolutely impossible. Thank you. All of you all showed your grit and character back then, strong British character. You didn't compromise Ukraine, and hence you didn't compromise your ideals, and thus you didn't compromise the spirit of these great islands. Thank you very much. And of course, everybody understands that our countries knew absolutely different times. Our nations defended freedom in the Second World War. The Iron Curtain divided us. Our people went through crisis and growth, through inflation and periods of social losses and social gains. It was tough, but we always found strength and stamina to move ahead and achieve results. This is the bedrock of our land and your traditions. Ukrainians and Brits defeated the fear of war and had the time to enjoy peace. No matter what we encountered on different stages of our and your formidable history, and you and us and the whole mankind achieved similar result. Evil lost. Evil lost. We will always come out on top of evil. This lies at the core of our, but also your traditions. However, The horizon never stays clear for a while. Once the old evil is defeated, the new one is attempting to rise its head. Do you have a feeling that the evil will crumble once again? I can see in your eyes now we think the same way as you do. We know freedom will win. We know Russia will lose. And we really know the victory will change the world. And this will be a change that the world has long needed. The United Kingdom is marching with us towards the most important victory of our lifetime. It will be a victory over the very idea of the war. After we win together, any aggressor, it doesn't matter, big or small, will know what awaits him if he attacks international order. Any aggressor who will try to push the boundaries by force, who will inflict destruction and death on other peoples, who will try to endure his dictatorship at the expense of other people's blood in criminal and unprovoked wars, as the Kremlin does. Any aggressor is going to lose. Ladies and gentlemen, we have already achieved remarkable results, and we must make every effort to turn our achievements into the foundations of the future global security architecture. The world needs your leadership, Britain, just as it needs Ukrainian bravery. When the full-scale invasion began, we, together with you, Britain, and United States and other allies, formed a true coalition of friends. That is very important. You were among those very few who had helped before the large-scale invasion began, exactly as it will be necessary every time in the future to prevent aggression from happening. Your help was preventive. We must take these principles of preventive aid to those who are threatened with aggression, and preventive sanctions against those who threaten aggression as basic principles of the world anti-war policy. We created a coalition of NLAW. Thank you. Of NLAW and Javelin that stopped the advance of the Russian army from the first day of the invasion. We built the coalition of artillery rounds and a coalition of air defense, which allow us to save the lives of our children, of our people, of our civilians, our women, our elderly, and our cities from Russian atrocious occupation and missile terror. We put together a powerful sanction coalition, and your leadership is protecting international legal order through sanctions against a terrorist state cannot be questioned. And we have to steadily continue along this way until Russia is deprived of any possibility to finance the war. Most importantly, together with the G7, we brought about a coalition of values, a coalition that protects the rule-based world order and human rights, a coalition that will work in such a way that over time there will simply be no gray areas in the world in which human life doesn't matter. In order for it to be so, there must be justice. Anyone who invests in terror must be held accountable. Anyone who invests in violence must compensate those who have suffered from terror. Terror, aggression, or other forms of state violence. Our proposals for the creation of a special tribunal for the crime of Russian aggression against Ukraine and special compensation mechanism which will compensate war losses at the expense of Russian assets are based on such principles. Justice is one of 10 elements of the peace formula proposed by Ukraine and supported by Britain. I thank you for your readiness to invoke the formula. Thank you, Prime Minister. Thank you very much. As I already mentioned, Ukrainian soldiers are being trained in Britain, in particular to operate Challengers, your main battle tanks, and it's a tank coalition in action. And I thank you, Rishi. Thank you very much for this powerful defensive step for tank assistance. Thank you. The coalition of long-range missiles is the latest of all. It will allow us to make the evil completely retreat from our country by destroying its headways deep in the occupied territories. And it's not just, I'm not speaking just about weapons. We proved together that the world truly helps those who are brave in defending freedom, and thus paves the way for a new history. A history of the world that knows how to be quick in help, who knows how to be effective in defense, who knows how to remain principled in dark hours, who implements its treaties and arrangements in good faith, who does not allow perpetrators to enjoy immunity, who knows how to overcome veto when it's abused, who knows no fear, and who knows how to win. This shall be the new reality of the free world, I'm sure. However, evil is still around today, and the battle continues. Yes, we know how it's going to end and how we are going to feel on the day victory comes. Every day we continue to pay with lives, pain and tears for bringing victory closer, with the lives of our people, our heroes, whom we lose in battles, with the lives of our heroes who take life and death risks every day to save as many of our soldiers and civilians as possible. And today I will have the honor to be received by His Majesty the King. It will be a truly special moment for me, for our country. and in particular because I will convey to him from all the Ukrainians the words of gratitude for the support His Majesty showed to them when he was still the Prince of Wales. And I also intend to tell him something that is, I think that is very, very, very important, not only for the future of Ukraine, but also for the future of Europe. In Britain, the king is an Air Force pilot. And in Ukraine today, every Air Force pilot is a king. For us, just for us, for our families. Because they are so few, they are so precious that we, the servants of our kings, do everything possible and impossible to make the world provide us with modern planes to empower and protect pilots who will be protecting us. And I am proud of our Air Force. And I brought a present from them to you, Great Britain. Yes, please, open, please. Yes. Yes. To the speaker. Yes, speaker. Hello. And I will explain. It's the helmet of a real Ukrainian pilot. He is one of our most successful aces, and he's one of our kings. And the writing on the helmet reads, "We have freedom, give us wings to protect it." I trust this symbol will help us for our next coalition of the planes, and I appeal to you and the world with simple and yet most important words: combat aircrafts for Ukraine, wings for freedom. Great Britain, you and us both struggle for peace, but instead of we are forced to face the range that seeks to deprive us of peace and everything else that is valuable in life. Unfortunately, it is in human nature to allow evil mature. It then stands up against humanity. It then destroys and kills. It launches aggressions and breaks people's lives. You and us have already fought together against such evil. You and us already have the experience of defeating the evil that is generated by human nature. I'm not saying there will be no more wars after the war ends. No. It is impossible to completely erase evil from human nature. Yet it is in our power to guarantee with words and deeds that the light side of human nature will prevail. The side you and us share, and this stands above anything else. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for your support. And leaving a British Parliament 2 years ago, I thanked you for delicious English tea. And I will be leaving the Parliament today, thanking all of you in advance for powerful English planes. By the way, it's almost 5 o'clock. God bless Great Britain and long live the King. Slava Ukraini!
Thank you, Mr. President, for being with us today and for the powerful address that you have just given. The bravery, resilience and fortitude of you and your people is a great example to all. Mr. President, this great hall in which we stand, with its walls first built more than 900 years ago, has seen many speeches from great and iconic leaders. Today's event will weave a new panel in that rich tapestry of history. Thank you. Westminster Hall is at the core of the national life of our country and has played a prominent role in the development of our judicial system and our parliamentary democracy. But the story of this hall is also a tale of resilience and of remaining steadfast in the face of disaster. While fire raged around this site in 1834, destroying our old Parliament, Westminster Hall stood proud. When during the Second World War, bombs rained on London, Westminster Hall remained largely undamaged, stoic in the face of great peril. This hall reminds us that in the face of challenge and conflict, symbols of our national identity and sovereignty will endure, giving powerful and visible hope to our peoples during times of tribulation. In the same way, the endurance of your government and its institutions in the midst of a colossal threat to Ukraine continues to inspire your population and millions more beyond your borders. This endurance and inspiration rests in large part upon the leadership that you have demonstrated since your country was forced into this terrible conflict. Mr. President, a conflict which you did not choose. Effective leadership demands the ability to respond to unpredictable challenges. Mr. President, in the extraordinary situation in which you were placed, visibility was essential. In testing times, leaders must be visible to their people. And from the outset last February, when bombs were falling on Kyiv, you were visible. Broadcasting from the streets of your capital, you reassured Ukrainians and indeed the world of the determination of your government in the face of violent aggression. Your leadership has been steadfast. In the early days of this conflict, some suggested that the Ukrainian state could not withstand the Russian threat and that the war would quickly end. In one of your broadcasts during the early bombardment, you famously said, "We are all here." You did not leave. You showed the world that your government was still at work in Kyiv and was fully committed to the defence of Ukraine. Your people have followed this example with an inspirational display of bravery. Vision has also characterised your leadership. You have not only expressed your belief in the continuing ability of Ukrainians to withstand aggression, but have embodied that belief, offering hope of a reconstructed Ukraine playing its full part in the future of Europe. That vision will continue to sustain you and your people in the difficult times ahead. Finally, a great leader never gives up. Selflessness and bringing people together are the essence of leadership. Mr. Speaker, Mr. President, you exemplify these qualities in abundance. We salute your determination, your resilience, your courage. So let me thank you once again, Mr. President, for your visit today. We wish you and the Ukrainian people success, strength, and fortitude. You are not alone in this struggle. This Parliament, and indeed the country, stands with you in solidarity as you continue this noble fight. Thank you for your visit, Mr. President.
go. We've been told to go.